I mean, this is going to make E.T. look like Raiders of the Lost Ark. You know what I'm saying?
Buried alive. Buried alive.
Loki! Loki!
Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Delicious things to eat.
The popcorn can't be beat. The sparkling drinks are just dandy. The chocolate bars and the candy. So let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat. Let's all go to the lobby to get ourselves a treat.
Hey, how you doing?
I met my old lover on the street last night. She seemed so glad to see me, I just smiled. Oh!
I'm just pushing buttons here. I have no idea what I'm doing. Good afternoon, everybody. Hopefully you guys are doing well. Pops is doing well. He regrets that he cannot be here this afternoon to do the Conan review. He called me up a couple hours ago and was like, Loki, is there any way that you can step in? And I was like, I'm going to punt to Ironcaster and I'm going to let him run things. That way he's over there and I'm over here. And yeah, so Ironcaster's in charge.
Well, folks, you see what happened was I was in the private chat and I was like, you know, it's been a while since we talked about a shark movie. I don't know. Pop just got sick out of nowhere. I don't know what happened.
I don't know what happened. We should have a guest coming in just a couple of minutes, but I wanna welcome everybody that's here in chat. Zax is like, Gray. What's up, Zax? How are you doing? Lady missed the Guardian of the Void. Conan was his best in life to crush your enemies, to see them driven before you, and to hear the limitations of the women. Yeah, yeah. Not that wind in his hair horse crap. The falcons at your wrist, and the wind, your hair. Wrong. That's right. Wrong. It's Conan. What is best in life? That's right. That's right. Lady Miss knows what's up. Jacob Ironside is here. What is up, Jacob Ironside? Good afternoon. How are you? Lord Bob, what is up? What is up? What's going on, man? It's good to see you. Really good to see you. Thank you. Thank you for being here. Southern Viking. It's time to wake up the neighbors again this morning, isn't it? Hail everyone. First time being able to check out this show, and it's about Conan. Conan, that's right. Conan, what is best in life? I was gonna hold the sword for most of the stream, but now I'm like, I've got the controls. So yeah. Why don't you take over? Can you take over? Can you do the no?
I got responsibility. No. I don't think Pop. Like if I did that, like they would wind up with like a bunch of new bad movie suggestions in the docket. I think we've kind of learned that lesson.
Yeah. Chris Burge of the Wrenches is here. The Master Wrench of the North. How are you doing, brother? It is good to see you. Pat S. What is up? No Pops. Let's play hooky. I won't tell anybody. That's right. Smoking cigarettes out behind the gym. Playing hooky. Not going to class because Pops is not here. Copa. What's up, Copa? The best Conan is Conan the Librarian. And it's not even close.
Do you not know the Dewey Decimal System?
I despise all weavers of the dark arts. Forget what that one was. It was on Cartoon Swim. It was something like Bilbo the Barbarian or some crazy thing like that.
Thundar?
It's possible. It's possible. I just remember him being like, "We want you to go and we want you to take out the sorcerer," and he's like, "I despise all weavers of the dark arts." It's pretty funny. It was a pretty funny show. I don't remember exactly what it was, but it was funny. It had a barbarian in it. Okay, I've got dishpan hands. Apart from that, it's time for Conan. That's right. Yes. Yes, they did. And his whole town got frozen in stone or something. And I was like, that's not what happened. And then I realized, oh, it's a cartoon. I'm like the only kid on the block that knows what really happened, which is some messed up stuff. Almost said a bad word on Pop's show. I gotta,
it's almost as crazy as the fact that they gave him a late night talk show too. Oh, yeah, that was Conan.
Just the wrong Conan. So had you seen this before, or was this one of those like Ironcaster firsts?
Oh, wait, are we talking the Barbarian? The Schwarzenegger movie? Oh no, I've seen it. I've seen it plenty of times. This is one of those movies to always throw on, like, just when I have a little off time, or I'm like, hey, let's throw something great on, or maybe I'm feeling sick. Let me just throw something on where I can just kind of, I know I don't have to worry too much because Conan's going to be there to tell me what's best in life.
Which is Apollome's minion. Hello, Apollomy. Hopefully you and Puppers are doing well. Everybody's doing well. It is good to see you.
Truck dog.
I wonder if Thundar kind of ripped off Conan. A lot of stuff ripped off Conan.
Right. Well, I mean, the nice thing with Thundar was you had Jack Kirby doing a lot of the early concept art for it.
A lot of stuff ripped off Conan the Barbarian.
Well, I mean, if you're going to steal from the best.
Steal from the best. He-Man. With the battle axe and the oh yeah. The live action TV show with Ralph Muller was better, and that's not saying much. The only thing they'll remember is two stood against many. Squeaker, do you want to get in here? We're down a Pops. If you would like to get in here, because I watched the director's cut for the first time, for the very first time. Because I got my 2 copies, which I didn't. Yeah, that wasn't supposed to go down like that, but that's crazy. That I'd never seen that.
Crom smiled on you today.
Crom smiled. Yes, he did. I watched this the other day, and then I rewatched it today. So. I'd watched it before I got the 4K, and then I watched it after I got the 4K. And I got to say, that 4K is beautiful from Arrow.
Well, I mean, Arrow's always been a great company for the special features. They really love to go and load those discs up. Give you like a couple extra discs in there as well. Are there some extra variants on this? Like, here, let's give you like 3 extra copies of the film. Like, here's the international one. Here's the UK one. Here's the theatrical cut. And commentary.
Oh, yeah.
So hang on. Let's step back a little bit here.
You've got an invite if you want one. Go ahead.
What do you think it is that's caused Conan specifically to survive all these years, whereas, say, even some of Howard's other characters like Solomon Kane or Kull the Conqueror, just they haven't, while they're around, they don't have the same iconography that Conan did.
Did he though? I mean, okay, so comic book wise, yes. That movie with, you know what, I love Momoa. I love him. He's my boy. You're my boy, Blue. But that movie sucked. That was a horrible movie. Did Conan survive that? People want King Conan, but that's never going to happen. So, not with Arnold anyway. You might get something different, but it's never going to be the same.
I think maybe what it might be is just the fact that it's stayed consistent. There's almost always been something out there. I mean, when the pulps went out of print, they kept printing for decades. Then Marvel got the license. We got comics keeping it alive for a while. Then we got the movie in the 80s. It's he's always kind of been there under the surface, always waiting, ready to strike.
Oh yeah. And I just picked up my what's the new one? The new one that just came out. The new comic.
Oh, the Savage Sword.
Savage Sword, yeah. Black and white. Loving it.
Mm-hmm.
Loving it. Loving it. We need more. And it's big, dude. It's oversized. It's like an oversized. Man, I love that. I love that.
I got my copy right here. Let me grab this.
I have to go in the other room to get mine. He hit this microphone. Bing. So. Yeah, I don't want King Conan with Momo. No, I want it with Arnold. I want to see Arnold sit on a throne with a troubled brow, wearing the jeweled crown of Valeria.
A crown he won. He conquered and won.
Yes.
I mean, just to hold this up for a little size comparison.
Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Oh, she's beauty.
It's a nice book. It's a nice book too.
I think it's what, 80 pages?
So when did you first see this? Not the comic book, obviously.
Oh. I want to say it was probably my late teens, maybe into the early 20s. So it was something I always kind of knew. Conan was always sort of part of the zeitgeist. So, you're kind of aware of certain things without having necessarily seen them, but he's there and, you don't necessarily really know them until you get to see them proper.
So did you see Barbarian first or Destroyer?
I think it would have had to been the Barbarian.
See, I saw Destroyer first. What's up, Zax? Good to see you, brother. I saw Destroyer first, and I absolutely love that movie. And I remember trying, and I'm like a kid, so I'm like 8, maybe 9 years old. I couldn't get into Barbarian, but as I got older, I started liking Barbarian more and Destroyer less. And it's weird as time goes on, I love Barbarian, but there's a part of me that also loves Destroyer too, even though it's like PG and there's stuff in it I don't like. There's stuff in it I still love. I love the fight with the wizard. I think that's one of the best sword and sorcery battles with the mirrors that I've ever seen. I thought that was absolutely awesome. Awesome, Squeako. We'll see you in a minute.
See, I think my first time going through Conan the Destroyer was I believe Robert Jordan novelization of it. That was where I best knew it as. And yeah, actually on that subject of Soul Assassin's comment, I think it was the channel Diversity and Dragons, who's a pretty good guy. He's had me on his channel before. He put out a video how he was talking about how Conan the Destroyer is, for all intents and purposes, the single best like Dungeons and Dragons movie out there because it has all the right elements.
What one has the hot blonde? They both have hot blondes in them. One of them's a warrior and the other one's like a princess. So you've got two hot blondes. You've got Valeria in Conan the Barbarian, which is kind of like his kind of wife that, he's trying to get revenge, and the woman he falls in love with. And then there's the blonde princess that's like, I want you to stay with me. And he's like, and just leaves. He's like, nope, I go forth to make my own destiny. Not the easy life for me. See ya.
And yeah,
Dean,
that was.
Hold on 1 second. Dean, gotta disagree about Schwarzenegger as King Conan. How, dude? Him sitting on that throne and troubled brow. And guys, let me bring on a very close friend of mine. He's badass. You may have seen him on the back tube. He is the head of the back tube. What is up, brother? How are you doing? Daryl the Derelict is here. Hi. We can't hear you. You're muted. Okay.
There we go.
There we go. What is up, brother? How are you doing? I was like, is he going to say something or is he just going to be like,
See, I thought we were going to learn to pantomime for the entire stream. That would have been some experimental stuff.
That was good to see you. It's terrible Arnold impersonation, but it sounds Russian. I know.
you killed my mother, you killed my father, you killed my people. You took my father's sword, man. He's such a badass. Oh, must have been in my youth. And of course, let me welcome the one and only Squeaka. What is up, Squeaka?
Hi. Thanks for inviting me.
Yeah, heck yeah.
Welcome.
Oh.
This is
Now I
a
can
very
pull it
interesting first watch, I'll tell you that.
Which
Now I gotta
version
watch the
did-
first one.
Which
So,
version
Loki,
did you watch?
The first one, the Barbarian, Conan the Barbarian, 1982 one
Yeah.
with Valeria.
With
Valeria?
Valeria.
Yes. She's hot, by the way.
His Valkyrie.
I've never
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
a 6-foot woman more.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh my.
Oh
That
my.
was actually an amazing film. I'm like, why haven't I seen this sooner? I feel like I have to lose some of my nerd D&D cred for not knowing this movie.
Gee, if only there was an entire class that based after the movie that we could draw some inspiration from.
I know, right? You're talking about the thief rogue, right? The little thief archer guy?
Oh yeah.
Yeah?
Oh,
Right?
I thought it was the Liberator.
Oh, that one. Okay, I got you.
Or was it the Destroyer?
Not on your knife.
Not on your knife.
So Loki, I gotta ask you, did you happen to plunder into a tomb to get that sword and steal it from a skeleton?
This is the father's sword. This is not the this is not the this is Arnold's dad's sword. So, and it is an actual replica, so it is functional. So you could actually fight with it. It's battle, it's
Yes.
combat ready, whatever you want to. Oh my god, I almost cut my own head off. Combat ready. It's heavy.
Is that the secret you're pulling off for Mike?
So we'll go around the table real quick. We already got Ironcastle. When did you first see this movie, Daryl?
When I was a wee bit of a youth. When it first came out.
Wee lad.
I was a wee lad. I was 11.
So
But,
you went
man.
to the theater to see this?
Well, I'd take that back. It took about a year and a half for it to come on cable. So I saw it on cable.
Okay. Like adult cable or
It was like HBO.
okay. Okay. So all the good stuff was in it.
Oh yeah.
They didn't cut anything out of it.
I was like,
He punched
man.
that camel.
Those guys were doing some hinky stuff in that tent.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, I saw it then and I was blown away. I was like, God, I love this movie. It's like, man, why'd the witch have to turn ugly? I was enjoying that.
He was too.
Yeah.
He threw her in the fire. I lost it. I
Nope.
just giggle.
Oh, and now when I watch it, Monty Python rings in my head when he does that. Burn the witch.
Burn the witch.
And the witch.
That's what I said when it happened. I was like, oh, somebody's seen Monty Python. Good job, Conan.
You knew what to do. Witches and fire don't mix.
Or water.
Or water.
I don't know. I like fire and I like swimming.
You heard it here first, ladies and gentlemen.
Then you must be like Glinda.
There's a
No,
good witch.
because I don't like
and a bad
pink.
witch.
Well, you can't be a witch. You float.
If she is lighter than a duck.
So
That
she
must be
weighs
a big
as much as a duck. She's a witch. Yes.
Does not make much sense, does it?
I mean, you could have a really big duck. Just saying.
How many disappointed Protestants were there back in the day when they didn't come back up out of the water after they tied a rock to their feet? I mean, you know, I know the Italians were bad, but I mean, throw her in. Oh, she didn't come up. Oopsie.
But I mean, I have to admit that scene with the witch. I'm like, oh, this is interesting. And then she started changing. I'm like, wow, how many people are gonna say that they've had dates go this way?
She was a furry all along.
Well, I thought she was gonna like bite him or eat him, so I'm glad he survived. I was really worried. I was like, for a 2-hour movie, this is ending awfully quick.
It looked like she was turning into a cat.
Yes. Oh, and I didn't see the other guy changing either. I didn't see that coming.
Oh, the snake?
Yes.
Oh, Thulsa Doom?
My son.
Yeah, I didn't.
Come to me, lovely. Come.
That
is
power.
strength, boy. Yes. And
Yeah,
we're
I
all
didn't
over the
expect her to
place.
just jump either. I was like, is she gonna jump? No, of course not. She's just gonna. She did. She did. She's not gonna walk down there. She did.
Well, there's this. Okay, so they're polar opposites as far as this is one thing that you almost never get into, that you've got to kind of pay really close attention to. They're polar opposites as far as their religion goes. So Set is all about like cannibalism, human sacrifice, convincing the people that follow you to do whatever you want. So his whole like burn yourself away to paradise at the end of the movie, that was all to make sure that he can go and be a part of his deity's little circle, Set's little circle, right? Because he's not Set. He's just they're worshipers of Set. Whereas Conan believes in Crom, and you don't pray to Crom. You don't ask Crom for anything, because if you do, Crom's going to poo-poo on your head and be like, I don't do favors. So if you look into Norse mythology, Odin's kind of like that. You don't pray to Odin for shit, because you're not going to get it. You just, we devote this battle and this victory to Odin. That's it. That's all you do. You try and do anything else, he's gonna crap all over you. Well, that's the way Crom is. That's why Conan never prays to him. He's like, I have no tongue for it. Crom's just he's omnipotent. He's his sword and his mountain. And he doesn't pray at all to him. He's just like, I've got to impress him. And when I die, I'll go to Valhalla, and I've got to answer what the riddle of steel is.
You know, you're right. That was something I had really thought about, just how polar opposite the two are. Because for Conan, the only thing that is sure is what is basically what is in hand. Whereas with Thulsa Doom, it's all just air. It's all just nothingness.
Selling you on this idea that you're going to go to paradise, when in reality, you're going to burn in hell. And he wants to get his ticket to be next to his buddy and offer him the biggest sacrifice he can, whether that's cannibalism, whether that's his own people, none of them matter. Just him getting into where he wants to go. So, and him trying to convince Conan, that is strength, boy. You know, the riddle of steel, you want to know what it really is. It's man, it's flesh. It's
I didn't understand the whole powers. I mean, I understand the power of his voice and his compelling them to do things, but I didn't get how he was like, oh, flesh is so powerful, and then the chick died. I was like, that's kind of contradictory, because if her flesh was pretty powerful, she wouldn't have died. I was like, you're not proving anything to me here, buddy. I mean, yes, he's powerful, but not necessarily flesh itself.
He was the old school Jim Jones.
He needed more
Drink-
Kool-Aid.
Drink my Kool-Aid, my child.
Well, I mean that's because it was them asking for something from the gods, and the gods are expecting something back in return. So she can't just go and ask them to bring Conan back without expecting anything back in return.
Oh yeah, Valeria made a deal. Valeria made the wrong deal. Yeah. No, that was, and that wasn't even Crom. That was whatever spirits were in that graveyard where the wizard was. That's why the wizard was there, because it was so powerful. That's why Mako was there. It's because that graveyard is so powerful that he's around all those spirits. That's why he told Conan that when Conan shows up, he's like, you know, they're powerful spirits here that protect me. Blah 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 blah. He wasn't shitting him. So she made a deal with them.
The mix of runic writing and hieroglyphics that he was using, like on his body when he was doing a little ritual. I'm like, I wish I could translate that, because that was made like it looked legit, like another foreign language, just the way they mixed it.
Yes, his charisma and his voice. That was his thing, was his charisma, and it's like what he did to Conan's mom. He snake charmed her. He snake charms Conan's mom at the beginning of the movie. So I'm sure if you're watching this, you know what movie we're discussing. You've seen this movie, at least I'm assuming you've seen it. So I don't got to go into a huge bit of backstory. But Conan's village gets attacked. Thulsa Doom kills his father. He's a little kid. He kills his father, takes his father's sword. And then his mother's standing there with like a short sword. He just walks up to her and he's looking at her. He's looking at her. And she just kind of puts her sword down and she's just hypnotized by him. And he turns around and just cuts her head clean off. She doesn't fight. She doesn't protect her kid. She doesn't do anything. So that was his thing, was getting into people's heads and convincing them, hey, you know what? Just do whatever I want. He couldn't do that to Conan.
Well, it's basically that whole idea of the serpent. He's locked the gaze with them. He's got them to totally freeze up and just drop their guard. And much like a snake, he devours whatever he captures.
I do like snakes. I was sad that the big snake had to die.
That thing still is like, I mean, it doesn't move very fast, but it's still intimidating as shit, and an amazing achievement that they did that in the early 80s.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's a big damn snake.
Oh, yeah. Well, a lot of it. Like, I mean, the number of snakes on set, there was quite a few things that I was like, oh, that kind of doesn't look like it should be early 80s. A little bit later, maybe, but not early 80s.
And there were little touches I liked, like the fact that Thulsa Doom, his bow and arrow are snakes themselves. Like he takes the snake, he draws it straight. The bow itself is just one long snake with a string attached to it. As he lets it loose, and Well,
he talks to it too. He like straightens it out, and then he's like, "Seek."
Yes.
Tells it exactly what to do. So I don't know, his Thulsa Doom, James Earl Jones' character, his two buddies, you'll notice that one of them is in a bunch of other Arnold movies. So the long-haired one with the hammer, the big hammer, he's in The Running Man. He's the one that's like, I've got to score some steroids. They all worked with Arnold at the gym, in Gold's Gym, way back in the day in Cali. So they were all muscle heads with Arnold. So when he was doing this, he's like, I get my friends a job. You come work for me a movie. Hollywood.
Your hammer time.
Hammer. You want to be hammer.
All I can think about now is just Adam Sandler doing the exact same thing. Except I imagine it's like the super jack Adam Sandler.
I have to pump you up.
He just swings a sword around.
We are about to die. Salute you. Yes. Yeah, same dude. Same dude. So a lot of these guys got their start because Arnold was like, you come, you work for me in the movies. I like you. You pump up. Yes, I like you. You come work for me. Then we go score some steroids.
Well, it wasn't just a beefy man movie either. It wasn't just all gratification. Like, it had a good storyline to me. Like, it had a good flow. There was good conversation. Like there was one time, like the one part where he meets the thief guy. I can't remember. Subotai, and they're like talking about their different religions and stuff. Like, it's not just, ooh, look at me, I fight. Like, there was a lot of good flow in between the fighting, in my opinion. But I like that.
Crumb laughs at your god.
Crumb laughs at the four winds. The four winds are more powerful. Your god lives underneath them. And then if you notice later in the movie, he pops off about that too, because he's like, how does the wind ever get in here? Yeah, where's your god now? Where's the wind now? How does the wind get in here?
My favorite sequence is, I think, still to this day, the Wheel of Pain. That
wheel.
At the start of the movie, when you have the young child Conan is pushing the wheel. Every time I'm on the treadmill at the gym and I think I'm at my limit, I think Conan would have kept going. I gotta keep pushing myself too. Oh no! And the thing is, how great, by the way, is this soundtrack? This is my gym music. This is the hype music. Just that drum beat. Just, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I was thinking about that. I was watching. I was like, I need to get this soundtrack for the gym. Yes, it was.
On vinyl, it's great. I can tell you that. No record player.
No, I actually got rid of a whole bunch of my dad's records not too long ago. I don't do vinyl. I don't have vinyl. I'm sorry. I have two vinyls. I have an old, oh my gosh, why can't I think of his name now? Holy moly, I can't think of his name now. And then I have one that's like Halloween sounds that I used to listen to when I was little that I couldn't bear to give up. But yeah, I don't have, it was like 2 tote bins full of vinyl. I just don't have a record player, and it's not a jam of mine, so I gave it to a friend of mine that was really into it. So no, not a vinyl person. Sorry.
Dun, 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 dun.
Oh, I haven't seen the back of that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
That's really pretty.
He-Man.
We had some. You look right there. That round thing that's glowing right there is the top of a big giant speaker.
Oh.
And, we had some annoying neighbors that would constantly like make noise all night long. You know, thumpity thump 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 thump. So I just faced that down on the carpet, turned it all the way up, put that soundtrack on, shut them up. Shook everything in the apartment, but it shut them up.
When the soundtrack is so good, you got to share it with the neighbors.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I have some neighbors I need to share it with for sure.
You were bringing up favorite parts of the movie. It's got to, for me, it's got to be when he goes and sees Crom, and it took me a long time to notice, if you slow down the scene where the big stone helmet falls off. That helmet's almost the size of Conan. That's a huge helmet. He is literally like standing in front of a giant. That's bigger, way bigger than he is. Because that guy's sitting down above him and he's huge. When that stone, because he's wearing a stone helmet. It's not a metal helmet. That helmet's stone. That's why when he looks back up, he's like, Crom. Like this is Crom. This is Crom on his throne. I'm gonna take his sword. This is Crom's toothpick. And Daryl's got Daryl, we love your we love it, dude.
I'll be nice.
So I haven't seen any of them but the first one. So, but of the Conan movies, which would you say is your favorite? Like, would you if I had not seen the first one first, would there have been a different order you'd have had them watched in, or like which one's your favorite? Like,
Barbarian's my favorite, but when I was a kid, Destroyer was my favorite. I thought Barbarian was kind of boring when I was a kid. But that was when I was like a little kid. I was like 8 or 9 years old. So I saw Destroyer first, and then I snuck in and I watched Barbarian one night when everybody was asleep. And I was like, this is not the same movie. This is kind of boring. But again, I'm like 9. So I thought that Destroyer was more like swashbuckling adventure, more like D&D type stuff, and scary at the end. Scared the shit out of me when I was a kid. So there's a really cool thing where they resurrect this dead god demon thing at the end of Destroyer. So I highly suggest watching the next movie. The one with Jason Momoa is crap. It's just crap. And I like him. I really do. But they changed the way he looked. He doesn't look right. It's something like his face is fat. I don't know what they did to him, but they made him look different. So he doesn't look like himself. And then I don't know if they were trying to make him look like Arnold. I don't know what they were trying to do. But yeah, all the women in Destroyer look great. All of them.
they all looked great in Barbarian too. I mean, when they were in that one scene where it's like, "Is this paradise?" I'm like, "Yes." Yeah, other than the hand green stew thing going on the side, whatever that was. I mean,
it was finger looking good.
Hands down, the best you've ever had. I mean, like,
I've never had finger food.
No bones about that.
And that one chick, she just puts it out of the bowl and she's like, "Nom, finger."
Yeah, it looked like a pig's foot. It looked like I was like, ugh.
It's a very handy dish.
True.
People are just dying to try it.
I mean, I feel like all of the women were pretty hot in this movie.
Yeah.
So I feel like this is a trend. Hearing what y'all said about this one, and then having watched Terminator and Alien, like I feel like this was a trend back then. Is the first one was like the storyboard of the movies, and then the second one was all action. You know, I feel like that happened in Alien versus Aliens, and that happened in Terminator and Terminator 2. Like, you got the background. It was still a cool first movie, but like the second ones came back and were like, "Oh, now that y'all know some of the storyline, let's do some action."
Well, Arnold, after Destroyer, Arnold said, "I'm not doing sequels anymore." He had such a horrible time doing the movie that he was like, "I'm not doing this again. No more sequels." And it wouldn't be until Terminator 2 that he said, "Okay, I'll do it." because Cameron's on board and he's got this really good story, and my character's completely different. He said that was the thing. My character's 180 degrees different than he was in the original, so I'll do it. And then he broke that and did a whole bunch of more movies that absolutely suck. So, and all the respect for I will not do sequels went out the window because he was like, no, give me the money, I'll do more movies.
Screw your sequels.
If the paycheck is right, I'll do whatever you want. Rubber baby bumpy bumpers.
Cold
Put
belly
the cookie
people.
down.
Put the cookie down. Yeah. God, I hope.
Wait, what's the chopper line from? What is that one from?
Predator.
Predator.
Oh,
Get to the chopper.
Get to the chopper.
It's on the list.
You haven't seen Predator?
No, because we talked about this with Alien. I haven't seen Predator either.
For shame.
Oh,
Wish I had my
it's that
soundboard up.
dude. Oh, that's hot.
It's hard to do that noise.
You just gotta snort, right? Is it just a snort?
Really?
I can snort.
Southern Viking, the orgy scene with Conan's wide-eyed reaction. Well, you wouldn't think it would be that. They used to feed him women. He'd be like, I'm sitting here reading the scrolls of Aquadaria, and oh, look, it's boobies. Thank you. Bread to the finest stock.
Well, I mean, it's like it's true what they say. You know, it's the same reaction you make the first time you see a pair of boobies to the 832nd time you see a pair of boobies.
You know
It's
what?
still fantastic every single time.
You know what? That's got to be like the thing, because I remember 9-year-old Loki being like, "Man, the other one's a lot funner than this. This one's just chick. You got this chick, and then you got that chick, and then you got the witch chick, and then you got the Valeria chick. Too many chicks in this movie." And then later in life, I'm like, "There's so many beautiful chicks in this movie." That's right. That's right. Pops is going to be so upset with me. He'd be like, you led us down the boob path, Loki, on my show. Thank you.
The movie led us down the boob path. I mean, you had nothing to do with that. I mean, blame it on Conan.
Hashtag blame Conan.
Blame Conan. It's his.
Hear the lamentation of the women.
Is it rated R for really nice? I mean, like.
And you know, I thought the director's cut would be like either more bloody or have more boobs in it. No, it's just like, you know, every once in a while you get some more dialogue. The scene at the end, towards the end of the movie, where before the big battle, where he's talking to Subotai and he's like, "I remember the green leaves." And I'm like, "The hell is this?" And he's like, "And my father taking me hunting," and he's like wrapping the spear, and I'm like, "When the hell did this happen?" And the smell of the wind in the forest. And I'm like, he's like, "One day I will go back, but I'm so angry. I'm scared of them all. They took it away from me." And I'm like, holy crap, dude. I love that. Why did you cut that? It was just a little thing where he's like bonding with Subotai. Maybe one day I will go back. And he's talking about going back home. And I'm like, that's brilliant. Why didn't you leave that in the movie? Because we got to cut it down because the studio says it can't be more than 2 hours long.
Well, and then they put out like movies like the Titanic. I'd rather have this be longer than 2 hours.
Agreed.
Still a better love story.
Yeah, we'll add an extra. We'll add an extra 30 minutes of orgy scenes.
The scene where Valeria is talking to Conan and she's like, you know, I walk by all these, walking at night and seeing people together, and that's all I ever wanted. And I don't want you to go. I want you to stay here. I want you to stay with me. And we have something precious. Don't go. And she wakes up the next morning. He's fucking gone. I'm like, Damn.
I was like, that's
Damn.
What's that line that she said like 3 or 4 times? Who lives
Who wants
forever?
to live?
Do you want to live forever or something like that? I was like, yes, get it, girl. And then she just jumps off of things.
Oh,
Mm-hmm.
it's got a pool down there? I don't know how deep it is. Screw it. We'll jump.
Good enough.
Watch my belly flop.
Cannonball!
No.
I need to see this now.
No. Nope. No. I don't know. It has to be on Pops' channel. I don't know. Pops is monetized, so I don't know. Send Pops like a 50 and send me the wig. And if it looks like the James Earl Jones wig, I'll wear it on a stream on Talk Hard. But you gotta super chat Pops. Super chat Pops and be like, this is for the Loki. This is for the Loki wig, and you got to send me the wig. I ain't going out and buying it.
Loki Doom.
I'd like to think that like
Come
Pop's
to me,
just
my
gonna get.
child. Come.
I like to think that Pop's just gonna get a wig in the mail, and he's gonna have no idea like why there's a wig. Somebody showing up at his door, like what?
Yeah, send it to me. Don't send it to Pops.
Why did someone send me a dead Wookiee?
Send Pops the super chat and send me the wig. Just don't do it the other way around. Don't send me the super chat because then I'm gonna be like, no, you gotta send it to Pops. Don't send Pops the wig because then he's gotta send it to me and shipping and handling's a bitch. Although he probably could put it in like a comic book box or something. So.
He's just sending you one of those alien comics, and you're gonna open it up, and then there's just a wig between the pages. You're like,
damn it, Pat!
Jumps out at you like a face hugger.
Contemplate this on the tree of woe. Crucify him. I was like, damn. That's what you're going to do, huh? And they do it too. You just going to leave him out there? It's a bad idea. Now we'll just put him up there. He'll die eventually.
You know, every time I see it, I still laugh when he like attacks the vulture puppet.
I was just thinking about that.
What did you expect? What did you expect, Arnold? Were you just gonna eat it? You're just gonna eat him for sustenance? I'll drink his blood and eat his feathers. No. I'm gonna do a Thulsa Doom wig.
Send you the whole suit of armor, the cool little double knives, the snake knives that he has. I liked all the snake knives. Oh, what were that? That one dagger that king, what was his name? Osiric?
Yeah, Osiric.
That guy, like that one dagger he had where he was talking about his daughter, like he found that dagger with the twin snakes that the son stabbed his father through the heart with or something like that. That was a cool dagger.
Mm-hmm.
There we go.
I was about to say, Ming the Merciless.
Ming the Merciless.
Max von
This
Sydow.
guy. Max von Sydow, yeah. And what are you? Thieves.
Just handfuls of rubies.
Take all you can carry.
Yeah, and then he gives that cool speech about the throne room being cold and lonely, and
Well, that's exactly that's him telling Conan the future. I mean, that's him on the throne of Aquileia with a troubled brow. The jewels cease to sparkle. One day you'll know. I know because I was you. I was you not too long ago. Now I'm a king. None of this shit matters. All that matters is my daughter. So let's talk about his daughter. Snake spit.
It's always the daughter who winds up like getting involved with the bad boys that then has to go be rescued.
College kid who fell in love with her professor and ran off.
Oh, I could
Was
see
she
that
doing
too.
the snake?
That was my question. I was waiting for y'all to say something about that. Because we changed into a snake and she's like sleeping right there. And I was like, wait, does she know? Does she know?
I mean, at least she didn't have to perform the dance of the three snakes.
Oh, whoa.
Hell comes a Frogtown.
I just got the music going through my head.
You have awoken the three snakes.
I'm biting my tongue, so I want to say
Did
something.
he have 3 snakes?
He had 3 snakes. It was a big giant frog man with 3 snakes.
But she's there. She's there at the orgy. She's there. She's there when he's doing his sermons. She's sitting there with the snakes curled around her hands, and she's like the girl from Rust, you know? I mean, is this a daughter thing where she's like, but instead of, pistols, she's got snakes? Was Alec Baldwin on set pointing snakes at people?
Things in here don't react too well to snakes.
How does this compare with, y'all said there's comic books. How does the movie compare with the comics? Like, is she the same way in the comic books? Like,
She's not in the comic book.
oh. Okay,
The
well then I guess
princess?
no. Yeah. Are any of the characters, besides Conan, of course, in the comic books?
Yep.
Does his wife die?
Yes.
Oh.
Because that's like a big thing. Okay, so you've got Crom, and then you've got the people that were loyal and worked with Conan. So Crom is going to be like there, and then his court is going to be basically made up of the people that work with Conan, and then Conan's going to be on the other side of the table. So his lieutenants get in because of Conan.
Oh.
Nice.
So, for the sake of, like they change things when they adapt movies, so are you okay with this change of this princess being added from the movie to the comic book? Like, do you feel like it that mattered in any way?
Well, there were books before there were comics.
Yeah, I mean, by and large, the thing with Conan is he's a pulp character, so just a lot of individual little stories of just various adventures throughout his life, which you can get collected editions from like Del Rey. Like, here's my copy of The Coming of Conan the Cimmerian. So you get these little stories of just this character, and often like having an adventure with like pirates, and then like an adventure off in the cold north where he's like chasing down the frost giant's daughter. And then now we're suddenly in Zambula fighting Pictish warriors or something else. And then of course we also get a story towards the end of his life where he is the king sitting on the throne, having to deal with like these wicked, vile, like serpent men within the city. The thing is, like, there's a lot of little stories you can adapt, but then there's also a lot of little places in between where you could tell stories that could have been.
That are brand new. That, yeah. It's kind of like, if have you ever read any of the Elric saga, Squeaka?
The Elric saga? I don't think so.
The Elric saga, Elric of Melniborn. It was kind of like that. So you've got, think of Elric like the original Witcher. Elric had a sword that could basically suck people's souls out. That kept him healthy because he was dying. He was like weak, and he got this sword. Chaos tricked him into getting this sword, and the sword, every time the sword killed somebody, it absorbed everything. So it absorbed their soul, their knowledge, all of that, and fed that power into Elric because he was the keeper of the sword. But that story spread across so many different little stories that basically eventually they had to make like a book of all the stories in one. There's multiple versions of that book. So they just took a whole bunch of the short stories and made it into an actual book from beginning to end. But even there are places you will get lost because it's like, okay, well, a minute ago we were here doing this. Now next chapter we're over here, and it's almost like they're not talking about what happened in the last chapter. So why are we over here doing this? Oh, it's because it's a totally different story that he wrote at another time. Conan's almost exactly the same way.
Oh, cool. So it's not really affecting the canon or the lore of it any. It's just another place, another time, another adventure.
Yes.
Oh, that's cool. That's awesome.
And plus, you also have there's also other authors who've come along and taken their spin on the character. Of course, Chuck Dixon has his Conan books that are out currently, which are little short novellas of their own. You have, as I mentioned earlier in the show was Robert Jordan, who came in and he did a couple stories, including an adaptation of Conan the Destroyer, the second movie.
Well, it's mostly just a question of, because you see a lot like in current like comic book movie translations, there's a lot of like the lore, the canon that's kind of being manipulated, and I think that has a lot of people up in arms when things like that get changed. And so having no knowledge of the Conan canon as it is, I was just wondering, that's why I was asking, like, does this affect it, or is this really just the way Conan is? It's just a set of stories, and this is one more story.
Did everybody here has seen Red Sonja, right? No?
It's been years.
In Red Sonja, you get Conan, but he's not named Conan, but it's kind of like widely accepted that he was traveling under a false name. Pretty much that's the way it's explained, because the studio couldn't do what they wanted to do. So he's just called this other name. But everybody knows it's Conan. It's still Conan. He's just traveling under a different name. And that's never explained in the movie. But we all know that it's Conan. Because Conan and Red Sonja. So, yeah.
I travel under my pseudonym.
Yeah, my pseudonym.
Witness protection program, like...
A long time ago with a Sumerian far, far away.
I went up against a snake god and killed him, and now I'm a wanted man. So no one knows my real name. Yeah.
So put that one on the list.
Yeah, Red Sonja, the original Red Sonja. It's now that's like that's got some shit in it too. So
yeah, watch that. Don't watch whatever they're about to put out with Red Sonja.
Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Red Sonja is at its heart about women hating on other women.
Oh. So it's like any other platform. Okay, cool.
Business as usual.
Yeah,
yeah.
pretty much.
Except they admit it. They admit it in this movie, which a lot of movies today won't. Why do you not like Cortana in Halo? Because I hate that bitch. Because my boyfriend always liked him. So I'm making him the most insufferable bitch in the universe because you hate her. Because you are a woman hating another woman. I get it.
Indeed.
The barbarian with no name. That's right. That's right. He's the barbarian with no name. Who are you?
So Squeaka, I gotta ask you, like, how did how did this film live up to sort of your expectations? Because Conan is one of those characters that's become so much bigger than just any one film, any little bit of story. He's become a cultural icon who sort of lives in the aether of pop culture. How does this film live up to sort of the mental image of what you imagined Conan to be?
It's horrible. I hated it. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I mean, okay, so having the D&D background before I watched this, not the other way around, it was, I have to confess, like, when he met the little thief guy, I'm like, oh yeah, form your party, Conan, let's get this going. And then he gets the side chick, I'm like, oh, now you just need a wizard. Like, and then he meets the guy, and I'm like, yes, party complete. So from a D&D's perspective, I was like, yes, this is like hitting all my buttons. This is great. Got the big bad boss guy at the end. Like, I was waiting for the XP dole out in the credits. Like, it's like I was like, did they get good loot? Like, what happened? But as far as like the movies that I've seen, like, I'm really on this hype train of 80s movies because, like, with the Terminator and Alien that I've watched recently, like, it's amazing to watch and I've said this before, the old cinematography, like how it matters where the camera's at, where the shots are coming from, the color of the shots, the light, the dark, down to the costuming where they have more costumes when they're being all flagrant and they've got actual like shirt-like things on and stuff like that. But then when they get down to brass tacks, it's just paint and maybe like loincloths or, you know, whatever. Like, it's very minimalist. And I just, like, you could see that a lot of thought was put into the story and how the characters and the costumes and all of that made the story work.
Arguably the best decade for movies.
Yes. My favorite movie came out in the 80s. It's not this one. But it's Batteries Not Included. That's my favorite movie from the 80s. The little robots and
and the diner.
Yeah.
With the old folks
Jessica
song.
Tandy, yeah. It's my favorite movie. So as far as like living up to the hype, I mean, I'm not super immersed in Conan lore or that kind of hype, but it made all of the stuff that I already knew about kind of fantasy and and that genre, like, it made it fit. And I'm like, oh yeah, this is how they dress. Oh yeah, like, this is like all the way down to the cults and the layers and just all of it kind of, it made my little nerd heart happy.
Well, you remember this is one of those sort of definitive movies of a genre, like the sword and sorcery stuff. Like, this is like, while this wasn't the first one, this is like one of the ones that was early enough in that basically set the tone for everything else that came after it.
The only thing that's kind of missing in Barbarian is a wizard fight. Wizard on wizard. And you get that with Destroyer. I love, there's only one way to deal with a wizard. He's like, and they're like, that was, you don't need all that shit. And that's something that Jackson took when he did Lord of the Rings with the wizard fight between Gandalf and Sauron. You don't have all these explosions and fireballs. You just got them using their staff, knocking the living shit at each other. You want to know how wizards fight? I remember my friend going, this is how wizards fight. You know, knocking the shit out of each other with their staffs. That's almost what he does in this. He just sits there and just it's willpower. I'm going to enforce my will and I'm going to beat you. And when I'm done with you, you're going to be like, and that's exactly what he does in
I will
Destroyer.
break you.
But I liked that there wasn't a lot of wizardry in this. I liked the fact that it was it was just fighting. It was just this gang of adventurers, and and the simpler combat, if you will, rather than just a bunch of magic slinging. And then when they did get to the part of the wizard, it was like earthy. Like I said, he had the tattoo thing going on. He was in a graveyard. Like it wasn't a bunch of special effects, light slinging and things. It was
Well, that's
really...
it, and that's exactly what it's like in Destroyer. When you do get your wizard fight, it's not a whole bunch of like flashy fireballs or sorcery. It's a battle of will between the two.
Oh.
Well, the thing is, as great as those things would be to have in with the genre, that's not where the focus of the movie needs to be. Because this is, at the end of the day, it's about Conan. It needs to be about a strong man who can trust in steel. He's told, the flesh is weak. You could trust this. The steel is what matters. Which, ironically, then by the end of the movie, we see breaking for him. So I can't even trust that.
Well, even in movies like Crawl, you have like some of the flashy special effects and things like that of wizardry and magic, and it wasn't uncommon for the time in this whole sword and sorcery genre to have some of those flashy effects. That's what I think sets it apart from those of the same time, is the fact that it doesn't rely on magic. It's 100% like it truly is this barbarian guy. And while it references Crom or references this wizard, I mean, there's a wizard narrating the whole thing,
Yeah, and that's his wizard. I'm the chronicler of his tale. That's the guy that...
Right, yeah. But it's not like super heavy. Even in the minutest, like I said, like Kroll had some. I remember watching Kroll, and it's simpler, but at the same time so diverse in its storytelling and the paths they take that it doesn't need that.
And at the end of the day, I suppose that's ultimately the thing that really helps this movie stand out, is that while we get those hints of those, we're not over relying on that.
Daryl, favorite part of the movie? I think we all went around.
That's tough, because I love the entire movie. Whew, man. I would have to say the battle before he faces Thulsa Doom, where he sees Valeria.
Yeah. Did you expect that, Squeaka?
Did I expect the battle?
No, when Valeria steps in.
No.
And saves him.
No.
She's a Valkyrie.
Well, I gotta gather that. Like, I figured it out. Like, she came and saved him when he was stuck on the tree, too.
Yeah, but she wasn't a Valkyrie yet. She hadn't died.
Oh. Well, I was just going with the saving thing. But no, I didn't. There was a lot to this movie I didn't expect. Like, there's quite a bit that was very... Even with the flow of, oh, it's a barbarian, of course this is going to happen. Things would happen, and it's like, oh, like, putting him on a tree and having him eat a vulture. Didn't see that coming. Like, no, I didn't see... there's a lot to it that it kind of went outside the flow, but not in a bad way, if that makes sense.
I mean, it's a fairly simple movie, but there's a lot of depth and complexity to it that you're going to be able to draw in more and more on. I mean, that right there, like him on the tree is, drawing from Norse mythology with Odin on the tree for all that, for the days and days to get the sight.
Hell, Conan got me into D&D by way of the Gauntlet video game.
Oh, food is good.
Yes, warrior is about to die.
I love that game. That's based on Conan.
Every time I played warrior, and I'm like, crush your enemies,
Crush your enemies.
Warrior
I
needs
was
food
Conan
badly.
every time I played that game.
There's a lot of content based on Conan. Shit, you play the old Hero Quest. Me and Ironcaster were going back and forth about this earlier. I've got the Hero Quest game and all the expansions, so board game, miniatures, all that stuff. It is Conan on the cover. You've got a big barbarian looking son of a bitch in a loincloth with a giant sword. That is Conan, and he's huge. He's Arnold size. There is no mistaking what that is. When you say barbarian, it is, you immediately think Conan. Thank you.
Yeah,
very much.
yes. I had this game too, and that's the first thing I thought of when I saw him and when he was all in his loincloth. I'm like, that's the game. That's from the game. I had this game. Yeah, I knew Conan before I knew Conan. Now I feel special.
Who else had that game?
It's one I've been wanting to get, but I said they don't have the shelf space for it, so I have to be a little more considerate there.
There are some differences between that and what they have now. It's the same game, but there are some differences. The pieces are bigger. The book's an actual book instead of a piece of paper. There's one character change. You get an elf instead of, I think, the spell sword. And that's pretty much it. But everything's bigger. The board's bigger. The pieces are bigger. So if you're like, oh, I've got the old game, I'll just get all the new expansion packs. The sizes are going to be off. So if you're okay with that, be okay with that. But everything is going to kind of be off. So you might as well just get a new one. That's what I would do. I would get the new one. It's not that expensive, and the expansion packs aren't that expensive. And I think the character ones are like $10. So you can get a character expansion that just gives you, you get access to a bard or an elf maiden or whatever you want.
Yeah, I haven't gotten the new one. I got the old one a long time ago. My ex has it. I gave it to him because it was a present. But so I had the old one. I haven't gotten the new expansions yet. I mean, the new one, the redone one yet.
It's fun.
So I don't have Hero Quest, but I do have Conan.
He's a board game?
There is.
Yes. Is it like Hero Quest?
Not really, because you have one player as sort of the dungeon master with the other players to play their characters. And so you have this sort of energy management sort of thing. Which, by the way, here, let me just show you how much shelf space I have to dedicate to this game alone. Because I have an entire shelf just for Conan, and these are big, thick boxes too.
Dang.
Wow, need more shelves.
Mm-hmm. Start running out of space there, but yeah. And yeah, it's a pretty neat little.
Hi.
Yeah, I have no idea. I just wouldn't turn my camera back on. No. I'd have to go all the way over on the other side of the house, and I'm not doing that.
We'll have board game night one of these nights.
Show and tell.
Oh, I have to resurrect my board game shelf.
How many of y'all have played the games? So there's a couple of different games that have come out over the years. Everything from Atari to Xbox 360 to PS3 to the latest one.
One.
I played a little bit of the MMO, but that was like maybe for like a weekend. I mean, and they keep advertising it in the back of the Titan comics. So they're like every single week, like you're Conan Exiles and Conan Chop, Conan Unconquered. They're keeping the property alive, at least.
So the one that let me see if I can pull this up without screwing everything up. No, that's not. Yeah, there we go. Hopefully we don't see any dongs on this. Why would you say that, Loki? Because you literally see dongs in this game all the time. People just walking around with their helicopters out. This is Age of Exiles, Age of War. There's multiple chapters. There's all kinds of DLC. There's all kinds of stuff you can get. It's not an MMO, but you play with other people. So to see someone running around in the game butt-ass naked is not out of the ordinary.
It just gives a whole new meaning to get to the chopper.
Yeah.
Helicopter.
He's armed and he's got a short sword.
Does that make him the snake god?
Yeah.
But I mean, from books to games to movies to comics to, I mean, it's everywhere. Arcade, there's an arcade game. Oh, I didn't even add it. There you go.
Oh.
Exiles. See, I was being all careful for nothing. I was like, I don't want to show anything that could get me or Pops in trouble.
He wants to brag about that 4 cents he got saved up on Steam.
So I haven't played this since February of 2017.
By the way, Loki, did you just pick up the new Command and Conquer pack?
There's a Command and Conquer pack? Is there a StarCraft one too? Is that what
For what?
So EA just released all the legacy Command and Conquer games, like Red Alert 2 and Tiberian Sun and Kane's Legacy, all for like $10 on Steam.
Oh my god. BRB.
I should have them all.
Well, up until this, like Red Alert 2, which is like the greatest of them all, had not been included in that. Like it was not on Steam yet. But now it is.
I don't know. I might have owned it from before, because it used to be before EA did their own little stupid story. Yeah, Renegade's on here. Generals is back on here. Tiberian Sun's back on here. Covert Operations is back on here. Yeah, I own the Ultimate Collection.
Oh.
Yeah.
See, I don't think I really started using Steam until after they probably pulled it for their EA whatever.
Yeah, I've had Steam for like over a decade. Because I've got almost all of this is in my library. Generals is on here though. Hyborian Sun, Red Alert, original Command and Conquer, Red Alert 3. When you get into the other stuff, okay, all right. I'm gonna sit here and drag this out because final thoughts and rankings on a movie. We'll start with Ironcaster and Gold.
All right, so Conan the Barbarian, the original, is one of those golden films that, while it might have a flaw or two kind of in the mix, it's just so beloved, so iconic, you can't help but love it. This is like this is like a good warm, like 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It's like it's right up there. Like I've seen it enough times that any of the little flaws or issues I might have had, I've just kind of rose-tinted glasses over it, because all I know is I start hearing that soundtrack kicking in, that drum, that do, and I'm into it.
Hell yeah! Light some shit on fire, right?
I'm gonna push something now for like 20 years.
I'm going to go push my car.
Push wheel.
I agree, dude. I mean, you pretty much said everything I was going to say. It's just like, but you said it way more better than I would have. But yeah, dude, it's solid 9, if not higher. It's just such a great movie, a great story, great cast, great soundtrack, and it pulls you in no matter how many times you've seen it. It still pulls you in.
Am I next?
Yes, you are.
Oh. I mean, I haven't seen any of the others, so I can't really downrate it. I'm gonna give it a 10. I'm just gonna give it a flat out 10 for my first watch through. Just because it is exactly that. Like, I mean, the whole soundtrack kept me on board. There was times where I was sad. Tea came out my nose when he started eating the vulture. Not gonna lie. I was like, what? And I mean, he even had some little funny one-liners in there. Like, it had a little bit of comedy. And it's just like I said before, it was so well written, a mix of combat and storyline, like the original movies of the 80s, like the Terminator one and the Alien one. Like it wasn't overdone and it wasn't underdone. So I'm gonna give it a 10 for my first watch. I'm sure there's like weird things that I could have caught if I knew more about the Conan lore, or if I watched it again and might be like, oh wait, why is their shirt different here and their shirt, you know what I mean, like small things, but. First watch, I'm totally going to throw down a 10.
But the important question to follow up that with, does it make you want to go check out some more of the material?
I mean, I want to watch it again just for the boobs. I mean, just for the material. Just saying.
Because you told me to.
Because you told me to. I mean, it's weird knowing that I've been immersed in Conan without knowing I was immersed in Conan. Like with the Hero Quest game, or even like some of the Barbarian drawings and some of the old D&D books. Like, oh man, I've seen this before. I will certainly watch the second movie, and what else? Red Sonja, the Conan that shall not be named.
The Conan that shall not be named.
Yeah, because he's nameless now. When you said.
Yes. No, absolutely.
No, and to answer Pat, no, it wasn't sweet tea. It was actually hot tea. But no, yes, I will follow up with the movies. I don't know if it's going to totally immerse me in like getting the video games or the comics, but it certainly makes me want to explore more. And I wrote down to read the Elric novels too, so I'm gonna.
Very good and very very emotional, and it's not just swashbuckling adventure. It's got a lot of that in it, but there's a lot more to it too. Elric is great. Elric Saga is great. I'm surprised they never made a movie out of that.
So one of the other things that I would also point out for you, Squeaka, is that a few of the Robert E. Howard Conan stories are public domain, so there are also some audiobook readings of those out there. There's been a few different takes on those, so there are ways to check out some of the original source material as well.
Oh, I'll read them. I'll probably read the books. I like reading the books that go to movies, just because I like to see the differences in them. So yeah, I'll read the books. I mean, like the comic books, I probably won't get all into.
Well, like I said, there's a few of these out. Del Rey has been putting this out for like 20 years. These are some of the most accessible versions. They are the best versions of these stories to pick up.
Got it. I wrote it down. Thank you. And thanks for the
No
Elric
problem.
one too, Loki.
You're welcome. I've got to give it a 9. At least Barbarian, Destroyer. I don't know. I can't give it a 9. It's not as good as a movie, but I at least give it like an 8. And that's a much higher score than I would have given it 20 years ago. 20 years ago, it would have been like, Destroyer's a horrible movie and Conan's great. And it's weird how we do that. Like as a kid, I loved Destroyer. I thought Barbarian was boring. As I got older, I loved Barbarian, and I thought Destroyer was like a pale imitation of Barbarian. I was like, Barbarian's so good. It's got so much action. It's got so much boobies. And then we get Destroyer, and it's like you're limping along compared to what you did before. Now I'm like, well, it's good. It's just good in a different way. So you've got like the wizard, when he fights the wizard in Destroyer, Conan does in the glass or in the mirror room. That's like one of the best Barbarian fights I think you'll ever see in cinema. The monster and Conan fighting it out. I don't want to ruin anything for anybody that hasn't seen it, but that is one of the best fights as far as a sword and sorcerer movie goes. It's better than a lot of the fights in this movie. So, in the 2000s, Destroyer's leagues above the 2000 remake with Jason Momoa. I was so pissed because I liked him, and I wanted him to succeed, and they just put him in a shitty movie. And I was like, he's never going to get another chance. They're going to blame it on him. He's never going to get another chance, and I know he's got the chops to do this. So I watched him in not Farscape, Stargate. So.
And that's the unfortunate thing, because like on paper, he's got the right look for it. Like he should have absolutely been cast for this. It's just the script wasn't there to back it up.
They changed the way he looked too. They took away that rough look he had and gave him this cheeky, oily.
Yeah, he was too smooth.
Yeah. Although all the roughness was gone. They try to make him look like Arnold. You can't do that. He's got to be his own. He's got to be his own Conan. So, anyway, we're going to get out of here. Anything you guys want to shout out before we get out of here? Anything you've got coming up? Anything you want to talk about? Now is the time to do that. We'll start with Ironcaster and go back around.
I'll be on in about an hour or so with T-shirt historian for the week for our little midweek in geek to probably get into Wizards of the Coast late as fuck up. I was literally saying Saturday, like, let's wait and see what Wizards of the Coast does. And sure enough, they're like, yeah, no, Gary Gygax's stuff wasn't good enough. It wouldn't have passed our modern test, our modern quality control.
Daryl?
Because they're all white men from the Midwest.
Ironcaster,
White men bad.
White men mad.
White men bad. We may have a show Friday. I don't know. But stay tuned.
Guys, check out the back tube. Daryl leading the way, fighting the good fight. We're on the back tube.
It's an artwork, though. Let me turn my artwork. Yeah, Project Cambrian made this for us.
Nice.
That's me. That's me. That's Arlena. That's Jester. That's Mark. Arwen. Makini and Fat Steven.
That's amazing.
That is badass.
Yeah, it's all hand done. I just got it a few days ago.
That is absolutely badass.
Now what you got to do is you got to go with make a YouTube short with a slow pan across it while the Conan intro theme is playing.
Hell yeah! I will do that. That's a great idea. That is a great idea.
Squeaky, I know you don't necessarily have much going on with the channel, but how about this? Do you have a cheese you recommend?
Do I have a cheese I recommend? I have some I don't recommend.
Okay.
Brie and blue cheese will kill me, so do not recommend those. So yeah. I don't. What my favorite cheese is? I mean, I'm a cheddar girl. I like white cheddars, sharp cheddar. But
so
yeah,
we need Squeaky going. The cheese of the day is cheddar.
The cheese of the day. It's a Gouda. It's a Gouda day.
It's a Gouda day.
Best believe it.
See what you did? See what you did? That's what you get. That's what you get. Puns.
Oh, we're not supposed to do that here. Oh, sorry. I'm sorry. Please don't kick me.
I do that with my dogs all the time. I call them my Gouda babies. They're my cheese kids. My Gouda babies.
We're not even in
Wisconsin. I'm like, why did you have to kick Ironcaster 3 times? Because you saying stupid stuff. Oh, well, I did that every time.
I love Wisconsin for more than the cheese. They have a lot of Frank Lloyd Wright stuff up there. He's my favorite architect. He's awesome.
I wonder what bad cheese movies I could find.
No, guys, we're out of here. We're getting out of here. That's the end of that. We're not nope, we're not doing that. Guys, take care. Be excellent to each other. This is me as soon as he starts talking about movies.
Hey, how you doing?
Ross.
drama. You don't wanna cause a problem, I'll solve it, Bob Ross.